Welcome back to La La Land on CRN Digital Talk. That's Daisy Egan. I'm Brett Chapin. Thanks for joining us. We're talking with the lovely Judy Norton, actress, vocalist, director. If you have any questions for Judy, go ahead and give us a call at 1-800-336-2225. And Judy.
Yes.
You're doing some work with the Golden Age Theater right now.
Yes, I am. Well, it's kind of ongoing. The Golden Age Theater does basically the old style live radio play kind of situation. And, that kind of like went out of vogue in probably the 40s or something with the advent of television. And what they do is they take stories from the Pulp Fiction era, and specifically the writings of L. Ron Hubbard, all of his fiction work, and it covers all kinds of genres from westerns to science fiction to adventure to space travel, and these stories that he wrote. He was an incredibly prolific writer in the 30s and 40s, and so all these stories that he wrote, and they take them and they do them live. They get a group of actors, and maybe 4 or 5 actors who divvy up the parts.
That is so cool.
And and then they'll use sound effects and they'll do light effects, and basically the actors kind of sit in chairs and read it, and there's a narrator. And so I have performed in some, I have directed a couple, and they always have live music to open up the evening. And so I have also performed as a singer for a number of the evenings, and it's just great fun.
I think that's actually a medium that's gaining popularity again. I know a few troupes here in LA that are doing live radio show type shows.
Yeah, the live readings. I mean, it's what's interesting, because I thought, oh, that sounds kind of boring, because we're so used to all the visuals and stuff. And what's fascinating about it is that the writing, and I don't think it's just necessarily true of the Pulp Fiction era and what L. Ron Hubbard wrote, but also, so many writers. Like when you read something, or you just hear something, like, on the Waltons, we were always sitting around listening to the radio and stuff. You have to create your own imagery.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so it really is much more interactive with the audience, because as they're hearing these, they're creating the whole scenario, because you're reading some Western adventure and things are going on, and you're having to put those people there on those horses and galloping through the dusty, dry, desert, and
Sure.
And it's kind of cool. So you can't just sit back and
it's
zone
not passive.
out. Absolutely
it's
not.
Definitely an active.
Yeah.
Do you feel like
sport.
you have to work harder as an artist because you're not you don't have those visuals? So
Yes. My background is not in voice work.
Mm-hmm.
As both of yours clearly is much more engaged in.
Oh, go
So I
on.
am not used to thinking in terms of using my voice to convey, whether it's an emotion or... I mean, it's just instinctive as an actor that it will do what it does, but I don't concentrate on it.
Sure.
Whereas when I narrated one, and that was exhausting because it was really trying to vocally paint those pictures. And, the timing and thinking about all of that, as opposed to relying on my inner emotion reading through my eyes and the subtleties of all of that you do as an actor, where you've got a camera like right up in your face and you're, just trying to keep it simple and honest. And this was like, no, I really my voice needs to tell this story.
Right.
Yeah. So because it's something I don't do, I had to work a lot harder.
It's nice too, because it's kind of bringing a generation that doesn't know necessarily about radio, voice radio, and bringing that to them and letting them learn about it.
Yeah, they have been expanding this. Like the Golden Age Theater is down in Hollywood, on Hollywood Boulevard, and every Saturday night they do a show, and people can show up. I think it's like tickets are like $10 or something. It's like cheapest ticket in town.
Yeah.
And it's, a whole evening, and they do refreshments afterwards, and, and they get to interact with the actors after, take pictures, meet them. And, but then they have started sending troops out, like to, I don't know if they have sitting companies anywhere else, but they've been touring to introduce it to more people across, not just the U.S., but other countries as well. And then they started they did a test pilot at my son's school where they packaged these stories along with like a CD of the sound effects and stuff, so that
Oh, how cool.
schools
Great.
can get the kids into it. And they did it. They did a pilot of it at my son's school, and my son was actually part of the reading, and they did it one evening at the Golden Age Theater
Oh, how
prior
awesome.
to the grown-up reading, and my son was there as part of it.
That's
performing.
great.
It must have been such a kick
It
for
was
him.
fun, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do a lot of work with Golden Age Theater, and
Mm-hmm.
actually, in researching you online, I found a lot of cabaret shows that you had done.
Well, yeah, when I started doing the music work, which was actually pretty much right after the Waltons ended, I had been studying for a number of years during the series, but as soon as it was finished, I had an opportunity to start doing musical theater, which was something that I'd fallen in love with and really wanted to do. And so for the longest time, it was always kind of like, okay, well, I'm an actor who sings, and I would kind of like hide behind that. It's like, you sing, well, I'm an actor who sings, because I was so terrified that I might not sing brilliantly that I thought, well, if they know I'm an actor first, then it excuses any errors and flaws in my singing. And it was years and years before I went, well, maybe I could just like go out and just sing without hiding behind a character. And I took the longest time to get up the nerve to do that. And finally, I started doing that, and I just found that I loved the concert work as well. So I started doing more concert work and cabaret stuff and things like that.
I do the
is fun.
same. I tend toward that as well. Even though I've been singing for as long as I've been acting, I still, caution people. I'm an actor who sings. I'm not, I'm not Audra McDonald.
We're funny bunnies, aren't we?
Yes.
That kind
Although,
of,
I've got a friend, my friend Emily Bergel, who's been on Desperate Housewives and has had a great TV career and theater career, suddenly decided, you know what, I'm going to sing. And she did. And she wrote a cabaret. She brought it to New York. She got an album. I mean,
Wow.
She just did it. She was like, I'm going to do this, and that's it. I'm doing it. And she did it.
Yeah. Well, it's tough
So
when you come up as
inspiring.
an actor first, because when I first started singing in front of people, it's like I'd already had years of acting, and so I was up at a certain standard on that. And the problem was that I was already known. So if I went out and sang,
Right.
people expected me to be at the same standard as a
Right.
singer, both technically and performance-wise as I was as an actor. But I hadn't had all those years of practicing in the garage and doing all the small clubs and really
Right.
working through all of that, getting my chops up. And so it was terrifying, because if I made a mistake, they were like, oh, well,
You feel naked. up there.
totally.
Yeah.
So it took a
Absolutely.
long time to just get real comfortable with it and have the same ease with it that
Yes.
I have with the acting.
You seem to have ease with it now based on your YouTube clips.
Oh, well, thanks.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
If you have any questions for the lovely and talented Judy Norton, give us a call at 1-800-336-2225. That's 1-800-336-2225. We'll be back on La La Land with Brett and Daisy on CRN Digital Talk.